Why wasn't Cemre Arda there? And why did Gökberk Yıldırım's cool demeanor at the dinner leave everyone whispering? Welcome to my YouTube channel, Turkish Series Stars. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and support the channel, my dear friends. Tonight, I'm taking you behind the curtain of the Eşref Rüya set dinner that had the entire industry buzzing. The cameras flashed, the laughter rose and fell, the photos flooded Instagram stories, and yet one absence swallowed the room, Cemre Arda. Meanwhile, Gökberk Yıldırım showed up, greeted the press with a practiced smile, and then withdrew into a silence that seemed to say more than 1,000 captions. What happened that night? Are the claims of arrogance, distance, and an icy rivalry true, or is there a more delicate truth hiding in plain sight? Get comfortable. We're unpacking every rumor, every glance, every post that hit the trending lists. Eşref Rüya has barely begun rehearsals, and already it's controlling the conversation. The production company planned a private dinner at a luxury spot to spark chemistry, boost team spirit, and set the tone for the season. Nothing unusual, except for the magnitude of the anticipation. Putting two powerhouses like Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda in the same project created a storm of expectation from day one. Would he outshine her? Would she dominate him? Could the balance hold when both leads are used to being the epicenter of attention? That's the frame everyone brought to the evening. So when photographs from the pre-dinner carpet surfaced and comments began filling the feeds, one refrain cut through all the rest: where is Cemre? Speculation took off like a spark in dry grass. Some accounts claimed she'd fallen ill. Others suggested a contract-locked photoshoot had clashed with the dinner. Unconfirmed posts hinted at last-minute travel. But the claim that caught the most fire was the most dramatic. Had a rift opened between Cemre and Gökberk? It didn't help that only a week ago, in an interview, Cemre had spoken of her co-star in careful, polished terms. Working with Gökberk is incredibly reassuring in terms of discipline, she said. He protects his own space and respects his partner's space equally. On its face, it felt like praise. But the social media jury, always ready to read between the lines, framed it as distant courtesy, polite, controlled, a little cool. Pair that with her absence at the dinner, and the narrative wrote itself. So what about Gökberk? He arrived on time, greeted the team, posed as requested, and then stepped back, watching more than talking, giving polite nods more than spilling anecdotes. His energy was measured, contained, almost watchful. On previous sets he was known to joke with camera assistants, to take time with makeup artists, to warm up a room with an easy aside when the day ran long. The difference was noticeable. Was he so immersed in his character that he couldn't shake the shadow? Was the darker tone of his Eşref Rüya role holding him by the collar? Or did the empty chair where Cemre's name card sat cast a hush over his mood? The sharpest comments were brutal: he's acting superior. He refused photos with crew. He only spoke to a few people. But others at the same table pushed back. Gökberk isn't arrogant, he just stays quiet in crowded environments. He's laser-focused these days, they said. He listens more, absorbs more. And yet, once an idea catches fire online, truth becomes slippery. The perception of a distant duo did not appear out of nowhere. Even the first promotional images for Eşref Rüya stirred murmurs of coolness. Fans accustomed to Cemre's instant spark with co-stars, especially in romance-driven dramas, felt something more guarded here, more carefully measured. Meanwhile, the expectation that Gökberk would anchor the series with his brooding intensity put an odd weight on every photo they took together. The dinner simply fanned embers that were already glowing. One empty chair, one reserved smile, a handful of captions, and suddenly the story had a life of its own. The rivalry rumor is the most seductive and the least verifiable. Social media boiled it down to the simplest reading: they're both at the summit, they won't want to share the view. Anonymous accounts claimed that one didn't want to be eclipsed by the other. Some argued that the producers had tilted the early episodes toward Gökberk's character, giving him a dense, dramatic arc from the start, while Cemre's role was set to build slowly and then punch through later. Interpretations spiraled. Is that an artistic choice or a tactical one? Did the imbalance bother her? Did it embolden him? Nobody could prove a thing, but the chatter was perfect for headlines and algorithmic momentum. In the end, the rumor mill became free promotion. What made this episode even stranger was Cemre's silence. She's usually the first to clarify when a schedule conflict keeps her from a set commitment, posting a story or a quick note to head off misreadings. This time, nothing. No photo, no explanation, no coded lyric in a midnight post. Her quiet felt intentional, and that vacuum filled instantly. She's ignoring it because she's upset. She's making a point without words. She's stepping back because the mood on set is tense. None of this carried confirmation. All of it carried oxygen. People close to Gökberk insist there's a simpler reading. He's been preparing for this role for months. He shuts the door on the world when he's building a character, trades small talk for solitude, and lets his phone go unanswered while he carves out a mental space he can't afford to lose. On camera he's radiant, off camera he's private, and sometimes that can look like chill in the wrong light. But the harsher comments kept coming. He looks irritated without her. He isn't showing gentleness toward his partner. The ego is seeping through. Are these feelings real, or are we simply projecting a script of our own making onto someone we watched for 30 seconds on a crowded night? Pull back a little and another possibility makes more sense. There may be no personal conflict whatsoever. What we're observing could simply be two professionals with very different operating systems. Gökberk is contemplative, inward, steeped in method for a role that will demand pain and restraint. Cemre is spontaneous, social, attuned to the community that gathers around a set. When those temperaments meet, the result can appear cool from the outside, even if the work they're building together is anything but. Add to that the weight of expectation and the magnifying effect of every post, and distance becomes a story even when it's just difference. Of course, social media didn't wait to collect facts. The speed was dizzying. One user declared Cemre fled. Another announced that Gökberk was abandoned. Phrases like icy winds on set were repeated until they sounded like reports instead of speculation. Meanwhile, those at the dinner recalled something quieter. A team bonding over food, producers pitching the season's rhythm, department heads comparing notes, a lead actor preserving his energy, and an absent lead whose empty seat spoke louder than any caption. So where is this heading? Sources from inside the production point to scripts that lean into sustained tension, slow burn attraction, and combustible conflict between the leads. The more the characters lock horns and circle each other on screen, the more set energy shifts toward intensity. When a scene requires high-stakes feeling, actors often carry echoes with them when the camera cuts. Sometimes that looks like distance. Sometimes it reads like frost. And then, as episodes air, the same audiences calling it cold in behind-the-scenes shots will declare it chemistry in the final cut. In a season that hasn't even premiered, a single dinner spiraled into a saga. Cemre's absence drew a storm. Gökberk's silence fed it. Rivalry rumors raced ahead of facts. But zoom out and the mosaic might be far simpler. Two artists built for the spotlight. Two methods, one private, one sociable. A fandom primed for sparks. A platform that amplifies whispers until they sound like thunder. Ingredients for a trend, not necessarily a feud. If Eşref Rüya can command this much attention before a single episode airs, try to imagine the numbers when those first scenes drop. Will time reveal a fracture or confirm a flawless partnership? The answer will unfold through the lens that matters, the work itself. If what we're hearing about the scripts holds true, if early episodes tilt toward Gökberk's simmering arc and later hours hand Cemre the match that lights the fuse, then we'll see their energies find a balance only story can provide. And if the buzz that followed one dinner is any indication, the moment they face each other in the tight frame of a confrontation scene, everything said tonight will echo differently. So, friends, that was the night that set off 1,000 takes. Cemre Arda was missing. Gökberk Yildirim stayed quiet. Social media did what social media does. Are we witnessing fractures or just rehearsals for a stormy love story that's meant to break our hearts on screen? We'll learn in time. Until then, keep your notifications on and your expectations high, because when these two share the frame, even a breath can feel like breaking news. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Turkish series stars, and turn on the bell so you never miss what comes next. See you in the next one. Take care and stay tuned for every twist that's about to unfold.